In the late 6th century BC, pre-democratic Athens was ruled by a tyrant named Pisistratus. Once he was in charge, he wanted to unite and strengthen the city. He decided that festivals, particularly those in praise of Greek god Dionysus, would be a good way to get everyone on board. So in 530s BC, he expanded one of Dionysus' pre-existing spring festivals and turned Athens into City Dionysia with a theater competition at its center. This festival was also about reaffirming Athens as a source of pride and power. The theater competition took place in a large outdoor amphitheater in front of a crowd of 14,000 spectators that included the entire Athenian society, even women and slaves. But of course, only male citizens could perform in the chorus or vote for the best play. The contest was between three different playwrights. Each had to submit a tetralogy, a four-part work. The first three parts were tragedies, and the fourth part was a satire play, which was quite fancy and usually involved a lot of profanicities. In 486 BC, Greek Old Comedy competition was added. Tragedy hit its golden age in 5th century Athens due to the big three tragedians of that time: Aeschylus, Sophocles, and Euripides. These plays matter to us now because they provide a template for most contemporary drama. But what mattered to Greeks to hang out on a hillside theater and watch plays when they could have done their civic duty. But as it turns out, they were doing their civic duty. The leading citizens of Athens decided that it was important to get together and see plays that actively questioned the values and structures of the state. These plays are exploring what it means to be a part of a family and nation and what to do when divided loyalties create conflict. They can teach you to be a better person and a better citizen by encouraging you to ask through the dramatic action what a good person is and what a good citizen does.
Although Plato disliked poetry and theater, Aristotle was trying to prove that poetry and theater could be useful to society. Aristotle's theories in his work Poetics gives insight onto the structure of tragedy. Being a fan of Sophocles, he applied the rules to Sophocles or his own Oedipus Rex: clubfoot, murder, incest, piercing out the eyes. Antigone's loyalty to family is memorable stuff. His theories apply to many other works of Greek tragedy. Aristotle's theories continue to influence how we write and think about modern plays. Greek tragedies mostly deal with legendary heroes or royal families, characters whose lives will have sizable impact. Also, their difficulties include stories about murder, vengeance, betrayal, and through to pity and fear affecting the proper purgations of those emotions that is catharsis as per Aristotle. Aristotle believed that in order for a tragedy to work, it needs to focus on mostly good characters who throughout the tragic action is then brought low. Aristotle writes that the idea is to have mostly noble and illustrious characters whose misfortune is brought about not by vice or depravity, but by some error or miscalculation. Aristotle taught that tragic plot needed to have three main elements: reversal, recognition, and scene of suffering. Reversal means that just when you think something okay, there is a change, usually signaled by the arrival of messenger, and then everything gets terrible again. For example, in Sophocles' Oedipus the Great, reversal is observed when a messenger from Corinth comes to inform about Polybus' death, which is Oedipus' stepfather, which is one of the reasons that eventually leads that Oedipus' realization of his father's murder and at his own end and marriage with his own mother. Recognition or anagnorisis is state when your truth is finally revealed. That was my mother, that was my son. Oedipus realized that his marriage with Jocasta is unethical since she is mother in reality. Reversal and recognition add more suspense and also create feelings of pity and fear, or maybe both, known as catharsis. Surely after the recognition comes the scene of suffering, exile, suicide, which psychological trauma. Oedipus blinds himself towards the end of the play upon realizing the truth.
so that all the city may look upon his father's murderer, his mother's... No, I cannot say it. Then he will leave Thebes, self-exiled, in order that the curse which he himself pronounced may depart from this house. He is weak. There is none to lead him, so terrible is his suffering. But you will see. Look! The doors are opening. In a moment, you will see a sight that would crush a heart of stone.
Oh, dreadful sight! We are not bred to endure such misery.
Oedipus, what madness inspired you to inflict such a punishment on yourself?
No. I can't even look at you, poor, ruined one. If I could, I would speak, ponder, question. No, you make me shudder.
Where am I? What have the gods done to me? Am I cast out?
Yes. To a place where men refuse to hear and see.
Let's look at the Orestia by Aeschylus, which is the only surviving Greek tragic trilogy that won the first prize in 458 BC. It retells a mythical story, one covered at least in part in the Odyssey by Homer. Its three plays are Agamemnon, the libation bearers, and the Eumenides. In the first play, the general Agamemnon returns to Argos from the Trojan War. His wife, Clytemnestra, pretends to greet him happily because he sacrificed their daughter to make some winds blow. To make matters worse, Agamemnon has also brought home his concubine Cassandra. Clytemnestra and her lover Aegisthus devise a vicious plan to murder Agamemnon. Agamemnon is subsequently killed while taking a bath by the duo. In the second play, things go bad in Argos. Electra, daughter of Agamemnon and Clytemnestra, is miserable. Her brother Orestes arrives in disguise and together they plot to murder their mother, which is usually frowned upon, but the chorus is all right on. They kill Clytemnestra and Aegisthus. Just when it seems like things might get back to normal, the Furious, aka the Erinyes, arrive. The Furious are scary, snakehead women who terrorize you when you have spilled family blood. They chase Orestes out of the palace, but tragedy does not stop there. In the third play, Orestes seeks shelter with the god Apollo, then goes to Athens. He appeals to the goddess Athena, and she arranges a trial for him, drafting 12 men for the jury. Orestes and the Furious present their cases. Athena acts as a tiebreaker. The case comes down to whether it is worse to kill a mother or a husband. Apollo argues that mothers are not really parents, they are just hosts for the father's seed. And then Athena says, "Wait, what? I was born from my father's forehead, so I can totally get behind that. You know what, Orestes, you are free. Furious, I'm changing your name to Eumenides, the kindly ones, and making you the patron goddesses of marriage and children." So that is how we get the idea of the jury and judicial system and some messed up ideas about parentage. The play does not have a tragic ending, but Aristotelian theories drive these works. In each play, the action is more important than characters. who seems somewhat flat and unconvincing. Taking the three plays as a whole, they show that the only thing to break the tragic cycle of blood guilt and vengeance is the literal divine interpretation and jury duty, which was a pretty convincing way to remind the audience of the city's democratic institution. Do these plays offer catharsis? Well, it depends on how one interprets these plays and catharsis. Also, it depends on how these plays are performed actually. Hope you like our video. Until then, it's a goodbye from all three of us. Thank you for watching.